All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Expansion Pass here on Bosch Rush Gang. I'm your host and enlightened, excited Eddie. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hello. I am here and ready to record.
It's been a while since I have seen and talked to you. We had a
whole 4 days.
That is true. Man, that breakfast discussion, dude. I was watching Power Blog and I'm just like, oh man, I want breakfast so bad.
Yeah, it's breakfast is a good thing.
It's always, which is weird because sometimes I have it for dinner than actual like breakfast.
Oh yeah, well, breakfast for dinner is the best.
That is true. Well, Corey, we kind of got a next gen discussion. I was in the car thinking, should I call it like next gen though, or something like that?
Instantly fired.
Why? I thought it was a play on Nintendo. I'm like, next gen though.
No.
Rats.
You can get out. You can see yourself out.
No, where do I go?
No. I don't know, but not here.
I was host.
It's time to leave.
We are in the building though.
Power Block is canceled.
No!
All subsidiaries and extra bonus crap canceled.
No! What if you did do that? Just cancel Power Block out of the blue? Like, what? Wait, what's happening? What's going on?
Don't think it hasn't crossed my mind, Ed.
No, you can't.
It's all canceled.
You can't. No. And then you'll text me like, what time we recording?
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Did you see the new Patreon box art, Ed?
Yes.
Is that it? Is that all you're gonna give me?
No, I love it.
Okay.
It's so beautiful. Corey is I'm sorry, Corey is just amazing when it comes to design everybody.
I don't think so. It's pretty simple, but it's fine. Speaking of good art though, and I know this isn't going to go out for a while, but shout out to Secret Friends Unite for launching their Patreon today.
Yes.
Proud of them.
To them.
They should have done it like 5 years ago, in my opinion. But, don't want to rush a good thing.
Yes, they got so much great content on their channel. Yeah.
I'm excited to see what else they are planning on doing.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I'm also sad though, because the Diggity podcast is going on hiatus.
Shout out to Diggity.
Jeff Brody.
I hope your hiatus is worth it.
Yes, Jeff Brody, we love you guys. We're gonna miss you. Pop on
They'll still
Twitter.
They'll still be on OBO and WASD and beyond, though, right? I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, well, they can make it. Yeah, but
I should text Brody. We used to text a lot. No, I haven't talked to him in a while. It's fine. I'll get to him. There's a lot of people I should send a message to, and I just haven't because
life.
Yeah.
Well, Corey.
Speaking of life, Ed.
Yes.
Nintendo will eventually come out with a new console. So, before we get into this discussion, I just want to remind everybody that in the month of February, starting in February, I was going to wait till March, but I think if we push it, that we just won't have the urgency to do the rest of it. But starting in February, so patrons, this is the first episode in February. We're launching our new kind of predictable schedule for Expansion Pass.
Yes.
Which is Next Gen Nintendo will be the first Sunday of every month. Ranking Nintendo will be the second Sunday of every month. The third week of every month is Nintendo's financial reports. The last Sunday of the month will be Ranking Nintendo. And then if there's if there's a month with 5 Sundays in it, which I don't think February has. Nope, February
Mm.
does not have, and March does not have.
I think it's not until April.
Yeah. We'll have a random topic in there for you, but that's how it's going to go. Also, at any time, we can have a random topic episode or a deep dive topic for you if we
Yes.
feel like we need to.
Yes. Uh, so, well, everybody, we're gonna this episode. I was going to say we're gonna start it off, but this episode, it was announced that Nintendo is upping their production line for the Nintendo Switch, and it was noted earlier in the week that the Nintendo Switch was the best console of 2022. Um, it wasn't the most profitable though, because PlayStation outbeat it in profits due to the fact that PlayStation costs more than the Nintendo Switch. So that $200 difference, and probably with the
It,
upping of the price of the PlayStation 5 in other countries, that kind of plays a part. And Xbox Series X and S ranked third in selling and profit.
if you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
So I was asking Corey. Oh, go ahead, Corey.
I just want to say that it is worth noting that even though the Switch was number 1 this month or last year, that their sales were down 25% year over year. So,
yes,
I mean, it's still selling. It's still selling a lot, but it's still like, I don't know. It's hit its peak. It's on its way. Its trajectory is on its way down, which makes me wonder why they chose this year of all years to essentially double up on their production. I wonder why they decided to do that.
well, I know that because of the chip shortage, they kind of lowered it down with the production, but I think things are catching up for them to be making more systems and everything. So probably I have a feeling that I think we're going to be getting some announced games for the fall.
Yeah. Well, did you see that tease about Mario? Did you see the email tease that was going around that made people think we were getting Mario Odyssey DLC?
No.
Yeah, a lot of people were picking out there was a specific line in an email that a lot of people were thinking Nintendo was hinting at Mario Odyssey DLC, which is like that's weird. It's been 5.5 years. Why would we get DLC? Why don't we just get a new game at this point?
Right.
Let me find it because it was really interesting.
Right, because I think Nintendo, I feel like the games that they shelved and restarted is kind of in a place where they're going to be getting the marketing ready to go, because we don't know after not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, we don't know what's really coming out that right now. Only thing that we could think of is Pikmin 4 at this time. Yes, we have Advance Wars 1 and 2, but we got to wait for that announcement for a release date. And then we have Metroid Prime 4, which we need to actually see the game before they come with a release date with that. I think they're trying to get more people hands having the OLED system, and to more households. So people who still have the old Switch could upgrade to this latest version, not newest, but latest version of the Switch.
Yeah, I wonder. So, okay, so back to this Mario Odyssey email thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna read this story from Go Nintendo because it has me really interested. Uh, Mario Odyssey came to the Switch back in 2017, and many have been surprised that Nintendo didn't follow up with a successful launch with major DLC expansion. While anything is possible with DLC, as we're seeing with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now, Nintendo hasn't made a peep about new content for the game in years. That said, a new email from Nintendo is causing Nintendo fans to speculate. Nintendo has sent out a Super Mario Odyssey themed email to Switch owners and is trumpeting the game's features, mechanics, and locations. Along with that is one blurb that has really caught the attention of those who received the email. The blurb reads as follows, quote, "But there are even more out there to be discovered. Perhaps it's worth hopping aboard the Odyssey once more and taking a trip all over again." Um, then it says Nintendo continue to advertise their games over the years. They launch is nothing new. Nintendo's been promoting games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing New Horizons for a very long time now. Uh, the same has happened with Super Mario Odyssey, but to somewhat less extent. The question is why is Nintendo doing this now? And why include the message above? Again, some fans think Nintendo is hinting at things to come for Super Mario Odyssey, but that's just speculation at this point. But this got picked up by a lot of places. This email.
Hmm.
I don't know if it means DLC is coming or if we'll finally get a sequel to Mario Odyssey or something. But I thought I like at this point I thought we were not going to get a mainline Mario game until the next console at this point. Maybe another 2D game or a 3D world style game or even like the Bowser's Fury style thing, but not like a mainline. But I don't know.
I mean, yes, we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, but I think we're going to get an Odyssey too. I think
No, I think we'll get an Odyssey 2 for sure, but I just thought it wouldn't be on this console.
I think it's because they're expecting the life of the Switch to continue to go on.
Hmm.
They want to expand it more and everything because in reality, Odyssey is the only from the ground up design game for Switch that
It
is a
wasn't
Mario
though. It
game.
was designed for Wii U and they held it.
I know, but I
That's why
think
you have
it's
the throwing mechanics because they wanted you to use the Wii remote.
we will. but I think,
Gross.
but I think like when we think of Odyssey, it being with the Switch with the year that that system was released. It wasn't a port, I should say, in a sense. Um, and then of course we got Paper Mario, and then we got the party games and stuff like there, and then all the ports and stuff. But I think they want to get one more Mario game on here aside from Mario Maker Mario Maker 2. I think they want to get one more out there because you know with the 5 years that it's been since that game release, I think they were creating new levels, creating new game mechanics. Like, yes, we have Odyssey, but how do we further that? You know, I think Nintendo's in an age where we built the foundation. How do we further that foundation and grow upon it? I think that's why we still have. I mean, that's why we have like Tears of the Kingdom. You know, um, that's why we have Mario Maker 2 and games like that. Like, how do we, or even Splatoon 3, how do we take what we created, made this thing as a foundation and build upon it? So I think with Galaxy 2, I think they're going to be doing some more new levels, more creative ways. And now that this game is, if it does happen, being straight developed for Switch and everything, we're probably going to see more what Nintendo can do for it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because I think for when they do get to their next gen, how many developers in house are going to have games ready for the system? Like, what
In
would
house?
be? Yeah,
Oh, they're probably already working on games for the next generation. I'm sure. I'm sure there are plenty of games in development for whatever the next console is. I'm still of the opinion that it's coming out sometime in 2025, probably spring ish.
Hmm.
I think we have 2 full years left with the Switch, which I think, at that point it'll be 8 years old, right? It's a long time for especially a Nintendo console. Um,
Yes.
I know some people were reporting maybe 2024, but with them doubling up production this year, that tells me that they want this thing to last as long as possible. Um, I would even consider moving my thought into 2026. Um, and I mean, even when Furukawa took over as president, he says he wants the system to last 10 years, right?
Yes.
And 2027 would put it at 10 years. Well, I mean, some consoles kind of leapfrog each other, right? Where the Switch can last 1.5 to 2 years when the next console is out, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we're still seeing that with Xbox and PlayStation right now, right? Games are still coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One that you just kind of look at and you're like, you roll your eyes and you're like, why are you doing that? You know, there's 30 million PlayStations out there and 20 million Xboxes out there. Why are you still, I just, I think we're going to see something like that happen with the Switch, especially if there's backwards compatibility involved,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And that'll be an easy way to onboard people onto the next console or let people wait if they're not ready, especially if these consoles aren't readily available at launch, because like that's always been a huge problem for Nintendo consoles, except for the Wii U. Like these consoles are just hard to find. Remember, like I pre-ordered my Switch. I stood in line for like 2 hours to pre-order my Switch,
Hmm. Yeah.
and after that, like you couldn't find them. I mean, the first 6 months of the Switch was out when we were talking about Breath of the Wild and a bunch of other games. Like you were still playing Breath of the Wild on the Wii U.
Yeah,
Like
I think I was giving you the updates at when I was at Toys R Us, just like on how
mm,
many we got and you know, uh, and everything. Like I had to put my Switch on layaway to make sure that I was able to get it and
yeah, and
stuff.
like the way these consoles fly off shelves now, and depending on what Nintendo's next console really is, like
Hmm.
I'm scared to death to like pre-order this thing when it starts to come out, right? Like, remember like how when Series X was coming out, and like I was trying to get one for we were all trying to get one for each other, and I ended up getting Jesse's, right? And
Yes.
like it was crazy trying to refresh all that. I had my wife and my mom and me all go refreshing all these pages, and like I ended up getting one luckily on Amazon for Jesse. It was nuts, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm like I have to wait for it because I'm like I know I'm not gonna find one. There wasn't anything on Series X to for me to get, but when I think you messaged me that it was available on Best Buy, because I think Wario 64 like posted it something, and I hurry up and went and got it. This was a year after the system came out and stuff. Um, for this next Nintendo system, their next gen one, if the I think my thing is if the chips are there, because they're probably going to begin doing them once again custom made and stuff. If the chips are there, they don't go through online, but they get them in stores, and it feels like there's an overabundance of it that enough people could go out and get it. Then we should be fine for their system. Um, it really depends though, like if they can produce a lot and what is going to be inside of it. Because I think Nintendo knows that backwards compatibility and uh goodness, what is it? Can I think of it? Um, regional lock. Uh,
Oh yeah.
that they don't region lock it and stuff. That they keep that free. That's going to be important to a lot of gamers. And plus, with all the games that people are buying, all the games that uh people are playing on Nintendo Online, all of that stuff needs to carry over to their next system, and it needs to be easy enough to do it and
Hmm.
everything
Yeah.
and stuff. So reason why I like bringing this up is because if they're upping their production, to get it, does this push back their next gen system? Um,
I mean, I think it does a little bit.
mhm.
I'm I wonder how many games they have in development right now, right? Like I'm kind of shocked that they are increasing production. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because hmm, it really. I think right now it depends on what their third party partners are doing. Um,
Yeah, that's the part that surprises me the most is like their third party partnerships aren't they haven't been I mean, take indies out of the equation for a minute.
mhm,
Like their third party support hasn't been stellar the last year or so, right? Like I mean, we haven't been getting the big Ubisoft games or EA games or Activision or I mean we've been getting some Sega games and I think the new Crash game is coming to Switch at some point. But like the only major third party game announced for Switch right now is Hogwarts Legacy and it's coming out what 5 months after the Xbox Series X version.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna try to do to remedy this stuff, or even if they care. I mean, Nintendo's never really cared, you know?
Right. I think because of right now their biggest partner has been Square Enix with all the games that they're playing.
Hmm.
I guess it's
Yeah, but even that though, like
mm,
we're getting remasters and you know pixel games, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Bravely Default, Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler, Live Alive, those are all beautiful, great looking games, but like we're not getting the Final Fantasy 16s or the Forspokens or you know what I mean? Like
mm,
I would even question if Dragon Quest 12 would make it to Switch. Now, granted, I think it will because Nintendo has such a legacy with Dragon Quest specifically for some
yes.
reason. Um and I think they will try to make it work, but like I've thought about that. I'm like, man, if this is going to be more if this is going to be dark and like kind of more on the realistic side of things, like, are they gonna try to make it work on Switch? I don't know.
Well, I think the thing about it is uh, I think they will try to definitely get it to work out on Switch, depending on what graphics they're using and everything. I think the problem is I don't think it's Nintendo. I don't really think it's Switch. I
It
think
is.
it's just
It's the
I,
technical
I
part of
mean
the console.
even well, see, and this is the reason why I don't think it's the technical part because
It is.
the Callisto Protocol that came out on Series X and PlayStation 5 only sold 2 million.
So,
And that was a big name from a company that made Dead Space. And don't forget that game, it looks beautiful on Unreal 5, no doubt.
yeah, but that
But
game had technical issues running on the new consoles anyway
well, yeah,
when it launched.
but I think that's the thing about it. It's just like even if you got I think I studied as I said this, even if you got the most powerful console, you're always going to have technical issues and everything.
I get that, but I'm not saying Nintendo needs like the greatest looking games of all time, right? But
Mhm.
like I don't know. I just they need a more powerful system to keep up. They
But
if they want this third party support,
mhm,
right? And they can be downgraded versions of these games, but like this console was like the technology in this console was old when it came out, and they
yeah.
were already downgrading from Xbox One and PS4 to get stuff on here.
Mhm.
Now you're not only technologically you know, technically 3 console generations away if you're comparing the technology in the Switch to what Xbox and PlayStation have put out in the past, right? Because
Yeah.
it's basically a beefed up 360 or like a base model Xbox One at the most powerful, right?
Yes.
Which I would say it's not that powerful, but like you're technological generations behind, and you're still expecting to get these games on this console? I don't think so.
Well, I think it's up to if the I think that's why Nintendo is with the Switch, and not just not looking for not to the on the next gen. I think currently with the Switch, it's new IPs, and I think that's the reason why they're kind of been, selling and kind of been talk of the town, because of the new IPs. It's not because of the graphic abilities of a series that is well known, and it's the fifth or eighth game or whatever, and stuff, or because like you mentioned Forspoken, and like it feels like people want that game to fail. I'm like, why would you want a game that's a new IP from Square Enix that has everything that you guys love in Uncharted or Tomb Raider or just these action games? It has the glitz and glamours running on the Luminous engine. It's doing everything that meets a lot of gamers' expectations of next gen console. Why do you want something like this to fail on a next gen console or a current gen console for PlayStation or in even PC? You know, uh, like you as a gamer shouldn't expect that or want that. If you feel like Nintendo Switch is not delivering the things that you are looking for in next gen or current gen gaming on the bigger beefier systems, you shouldn't want a game to fail. Because if Nintendo comes out with their next gen and it's not, it doesn't look like a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series X. Let's just say it's up to the level of Xbox One X. But they pull off a very their games are running smoothly, they're looking good. Anime looks great in their 2K style or whatever artwork that they design. If Nintendo gives these third parties everything to do right that people want it and stuff, then what? Do you want those games also to fill on their next gen console for Switch?
I mean, yeah, I think whatever Nintendo's next console should definitely be doing what PlayStation and Xbox are doing.
Hmm.
I think they definitely should be saying, "Hey, uh, you know, you can play your game on this Switch, but the backward if you have this new console, it runs better, it runs smoother, higher frame rate, um, that kind of thing." Like, I totally think they should do that. And look, I don't really care about third party stuff on Switch as long as our biggest problem when we were talking about Nintendo with the Wii U is that their consoles always had a lack of output, and you had to have both consoles to get the full Nintendo experience, right? Which
Yes.
for us wasn't a problem. I'm not a big 3DS guy. I'm not a big handheld gaming guy, right? Like, I still play my Switch on the TV most of the time when I can, unless like my kids are watching TV and I'm sitting there, right? Like, it's just a nice little thing to have.
Mhm.
Um, but like, I still prefer to play games on the TV. And um, the thing about the Switch is like they finally solved the output problem. They since launch, arguably except for the pandemic year, which I would still say they still had something like every 8 to 10 weeks to dive into, right? But
Yes.
they've pretty consistently put out a new game, whether it was theirs or second party or position some third party game. They've had a new game come out every 6 weeks.
Hmm.
And this year is no different, right? Like, we have Fire Emblem came out as of this recording, came out today. Next month we have the Kirby remake and Octopath Traveler 2, which is technically published by Nintendo. Uh
Should we just
even
have
though
Persona
no,
3 and
hold on.
4?
I'm
Oh,
talking about Nintendo games.
oh.
In March we have Bayonetta. In April, I still think we're getting either something that they're going to announce at the next direct
Hmm.
or Advance Wars. May is Zelda, and June I think is probably Pikmin. Like, that's one first party game a month. technically. That's seven Nintendo published games in 6 months,
Yes.
right?
And Mario Kart DLC.
And people like, and then people say Sony had a great year last year because they published 3 games, right? Right. And then when Nintendo has like, oh, what, last year they published what, 10 or 9 games, I think Nintendo published
Yeah.
last year. Like that was a downer year for Nintendo. And it's like, no, it wasn't. I don't know what. I feel like if a Mario game or a Zelda game doesn't come out, it's a downer year for Nintendo
And
for most people. And I'm like, but you had Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which has sold incredibly well. You had Splatoon, you had Bayonetta 3, you had 2 Pokemon games, you had Mario plus Rabbids. What was the December game that came out?
Was it Brain Age?
No, I forget. Something came out in December for Switch. And then on the third party side, you had Persona 5, you had Nier Automata, you had Sonic Frontiers. Like, what, that was in 6 months.
And I think that's why when people said that, I had to correct them on Twitter. I'm sorry, everybody. I had to correct them on Twitter, side tangent, because the thing about it is that it's not because it's a down year on Nintendo's part or the third party.
Crisis
It
Core
was
was the game that came out in December.
okay. It was the games weren't meant for you.
Yeah,
So we placed that. Just say that the games that came on Switch were not games for me. But you have to say, I feel like personally, Nintendo had a fantastic year because they had a rocking list of games that dropped throughout the year.
yeah,
You know, it, you give God of War and Horizon Forbidden West because they're Sony games, and you feel like those two top games or were the games, whatever, were meant for you and stuff. Even with Elden Ring, even though that's not a Sony produced game, but that's just two games on that one system. you know, Fantastic games, great
hmm
games. We'll give them that, but they didn't rock the way that Nintendo rocked with the games. You People wanted games for a console, and the Nintendo, just on the Nintendo side, they delivered. But
yeah,
because they weren't for you, you feel like they weren't. It was a downer year. So just say that the games that were released on Nintendo weren't for me, but they came
yeah. I
out
mean,
knocking it.
I mean, look, there were four AAA games for PlayStation last year, right? That Sony published. You had Gran Turismo, you had
Hmm.
Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, and The Last of Us Part One.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and say Sony had a bad year because I don't like 3 of those games. Like, I'm just not, like, or that I'm not interested in 3 of those games, or 2 of those games I'm not interested in. One I find kind of boring, right? Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, wow, Sony had a pretty great year.
Yeah.
They got one game out per quarter. And I think that's, I would say the only company that had a down year last year was Microsoft. What did they put out? Pentiment? I'm sure. I mean, Perfect
And
10s
that's
across
just
the board,
false.
but yeah, no. And I know Microsoft's going through a lot of issues right now, especially like the 343 news and the Bethesda news and stuff, like all the layoffs. But like, I don't like it. And look, I'm not. People who've listened to Power Block and Expansion Pass for a long time know that I'm not afraid to put Nintendo in their place when I think it's appropriate, right? Like,
Mhm.
and you know that, Ed. I'm not afraid
Yeah.
to say that Nintendo crapped this one out or did something right. But like, I look at 2022 Nintendo games for 2022, and I'm like, they had a pretty great year. I think Nintendo had a great year last year. You
Well,
know,
and
aside from
but
like the Pokemon and like the whatever, but that game still
that's
sold 20 million units. So
right, and that's, like I said, that's more on the Pokemon company than Nintendo. But that's the whole thing. Because I feel like ever since Switch came out in 2017, they have been knocking it out with their first party. They have been delivering games that, whether it's changing the gaming industry and on how people play games, or it is making milestones in sales.
Hmm.
And whether it's for you or not, you cannot say that if you put all the Nintendo games, just first party, together, each even with the eShop, only even with the digital games, you cannot say that is not a strong library
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
um, Nintendo has had a consistent strong library since the Switch release. Yes, Breath of the Wild started off, and yes, that's support with the Wii U version. But I'm like, and yes, even Mario Kart 7. But then Animal Crossing, the way that it's sold, ARMS, the way that it's sold, Splatoon 2, the way that it's sold, Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3, Tetris 99 that people are still playing, and all of that. Like, Smash Ultimate, like, just look, like, if you think that Smash Ultimate is just, well, that's for the Smash community, go and watch people's reactions that are not Smash players and see them get hyped for the characters that they release and everything. Metroid Dread, a game that no one expected to drop on Switch or what was even
Hmm.
being made, came out. What was people doing? Picking up an OLED if they could, picking up Metroid Dread, getting the
That was
amiibo.
smart positioning Dread with the OLED though, and making her suit match the OLED colors though. That was a
Yes.
really smart idea, right? Because like her suit is white, so if you got the all white, like that's cool. But also
Mhm.
her helmet was neon red, and some of the assets on her suit were blue, which was also really cool. By the way, I want some neon Joy Cons. I've decided.
What color?
Well, like the red and the blue one. Like I want one of each.
Like a light
Yeah.
red, and like, ooh, that would look nice.
Like I mean, like the ones that come on the system. I because my launch system I got the gray one, and
Uh,
then the OLED I got the white one, which
yep, I
I
got the white
decided I
ones.
don't really like the white as much as I thought I would.
Hmm.
I don't like the white dock at all. Like I'm just afraid it's gonna get dirty.
I like the
Not
white.
that my house is dirty or anything, but like
Mhm.
I
If you don't
kids.
like, I like my white dot and everything. I probably, because my white Dracons, I have not even played with. I think I probably did a little bit, but I haven't played it at all or anything. Um, hmm, I could do go for some neon. I would like a red and blue Dracon,
Yeah,
for it and
yeah.
everything. Um,
Um, but
yeah, sorry
where
for the
were we
side
going?
section,
Oh,
but
2022 games. Yeah, so here's a list of games that came out from Nintendo in 2022. Okay, you ready for this, Ed?
yes,
Well, these are first and second party games. So we
okay.
had Pokemon Legends Arceus, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon 3, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Nintendo Switch Sports, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Bayonetta 3, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, Mario Strikers Battle League. So like, you know,
All right,
it's just man, it's so crazy.
and it
Kirby's Dream Buffet.
oh yeah, that is right. Uh,
Gross.
uh, and it hit different genres. That's the
Yeah.
thing I think people don't get. Nintendo brought you different genre of
Yeah.
games.
Let's see. Pokemon Legends RPG. Kirby and the Forgotten Land platformer. Splatoon 3 shooter. Mario plus Rabbids strategy RPG. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 JRPG. Nintendo Switch Sports. It's called a party game, so whatever. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet RPG. Bayonetta 3 stylized action. Fire Emblem Warriors stylized action. Mario Strikers Battle League sports game. Kirby Eat Cake Buffet whatever. Like there's a lot here, triangle strategy, right? I mean, not a Nintendo game, but still like
you know, uh, uh, uh,
sorry
strategy
about that.
JRPG.
Yeah, plus like I don't know, you got some pretty major indie hits too and third party hits. I would argue Nintendo had a pretty decent third party roundup, even though it wasn't like, you know, uh, uh major third party stuff, right? Like
Right.
Triangle Strategy, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Origins also came out last year. Ninja Turtles, uh Just Dance, 2 Point Campus, Harvestella, the Atari 50 collection. We still have Marvel Midnight Suns on the docket, which by all accounts is actually pretty good. Tunic came out. MLB The Show came out, which was a pretty decent port, right? Like, so,
Hmm.
it varies, I guess, but like, I don't know, man. I think Nintendo's ready. And Nintendo's ready for a new console. I I think they should go the iPad route and just make another Switch and it's just more powerful. That's my opinion.
I, I, with the brains of their R&D, I think they're probably leaning into that, but
Yeah,
they're probably thinking what is going to be something that's affordable. Yes, we could give
well,
these
that would
other.
be affordable. It's the same technology. Here's the thing. I think Nintendo's leadership is actually becoming more conservative,
Hmm.
right? Than previous leadership, right? Cuz like Iwata was so into, I don't want to say gimmicks, but like new ways to play the games, right? Like the DS,
Yeah.
the Wii, the Wii U. Um those were all really new interesting ways to play games, right?
Hmm.
And then the Switch, right? Switch was still his idea even though he passed away before it came out. Um the console that came with two controllers on it already could be, it was basically the opposite of the Wii U. I still think, I mean, we've had this conversation before, but I still think like the Wii U was the right concept. They just got it backwards, and the Switch is the concept that got it right. Right. So,
Right.
um, I think with a more conservative leadership, I think they're going to look at what works and stick with what works and make sure people can use the same accessories, the same backwards compatibility. You know, I still think like the way that they're pushing digital sales, the way that your Nintendo account works, the way that expansion pass works on
Hmm.
or expansion pack works on your Nintendo Switch Online account, the way that um the retro game stuff works, like the subscription models work. You have to have this console be backwards compatible with your Nintendo account. You have to. I I I think the way they're pushing all that stuff, if they pull a 3DS and a Wii U situation, digital situation with the Switch, Nintendo's done. Like people are going to be so mad.
Yeah.
You know how many people have gone all digital on their consoles,
A lot.
including me. Like, I still collect Switch physical copies, but the only reason why I do that is because I'm so afraid of the Wii U and 3DS situation, which is why I've been scrambling to find 3DS games that I don't have. You know,
Hmm.
like like Samus Returns or Mario 3D Land, which granted they're not expensive, but like they will be. You know,
Right. And I think it's with Iwata, he came from a game developer's idea. He was a game developer. So
yeah, no, I
that's
get it.
uh,
And
and but yes, and so with with these new members leading it, they're more business. They're not game developers like Iwata was. So when you're thinking of business, you're gonna
mhm,
be like, how do we continue to keep and build upon the community and consumers who consume our media? If they're
yeah,
saying this is what they want, we have to pay attention. How do we work it so that it's not cumbersome, that it's easier to do. And not only is it easier to do, if Microsoft could upgrade stuff and make things look nice, we need to be on that same level. R&D team, how can we get this across? Because don't forget, yes, we are talking from American perspective, but this is worldwide. This is including Europe. This is including Japan. This is including everywhere that the Nintendo Switch is big.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think the way Nintendo sees themselves
Mhm.
is kind of like, and they've done this since the Wii. Honestly, is I think they see themselves as the Apple of video games,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I think they want to continue that perspective, and I think not from like a technological perspective or like a, what I'm saying is like a prestige perspective where everything's always going to cost a little bit more. That's why you never see their games drop in price, right? Breath of
Yes.
the Wild is still $60 everywhere. Um, I their accessories are always going to be sold at a premium. Uh, they're trying to go for that premium device. I mean, what was the first thing everybody said about the Wii when it came out and it was white? You know, why are they copying Apple? Because everything Apple was doing was white. The Macs, the laptops, the iPads, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Everything was white. Maybe not the iPads. Maybe they weren't as prevalent then, but you know what I mean. Like everything Apple was doing was white. And they wanted that sleek prestige look the way that Apple does. And
Yeah.
even though like the Switch isn't, you know, Apple white or whatever, like it's still like I think they still think that the OLED is like a prestige device.
Yeah. Get it feels like right after I kind of would say after GameCube was black. There was an era
GameCube was
that
purple, dude. Come on.
they had a black one. That's what I was thinking
Nope,
of.
it's purple.
Um, I know. Okay, yeah, you're
GameCube
right.
will always be purple. Purple, purple, purple.
I think it's because of buying the black one. I
Yeah.
always do it, because even like Sony, they went completely black with the PlayStation 2, and that's been their color for their systems. And I think when Nintendo, yes, they did have a black version with the Wii U, they had a black version with the Wii, and so a lot of people were kind of thinking that black was the fitting system. I I think
Hmm.
Nintendo was trying to get away from the white, but they couldn't, because that's when they were in their
Well, that's why the Wii U was white also, right? I
mm,
mean, they came out with two versions of that console, believe it or not, and one of them was white. And I think the white console actually looks really good, but it didn't come with anything. Like it came with 8 gigs of storage internally,
exactly.
which don't give me that's silly to laugh at, but also the Wii U, the premium one also only came with 32 gigs of internal memory, so whatever. Uh but I actually turned my Wii U on the other day to download the Xenoblade Chronicles X assets before that store closes cuz
Uh,
uh so yeah, I mean, I think whatever's next, they're going to want to sell at a premium. I think it's going to be a Switch uh 2. um
but you think it's gonna be a different design?
No, I don't think it's going
Since.
to be a some different design at all. I think it's going to be exactly the same. The only thing I could say is that maybe they get rid of the Joy-Cons to make it more distinctive,
Mhm.
because they got to do something to make it distinctive looking right on the package. Because
Yeah.
I mean, look at the confusion between the Wii and the Wii U. Look at all the confusion between all the different versions of 3DS and DS and 2DS and poop DS. I don't know. There's so many different versions of DS that like it, you could break your brain thinking of all the DSs and 3DSs. So they got to do something to differentiate itself. Like even naming it like the Switch 2, would be enough to sell it, but also like they got to make it just slightly different. I don't know if it's bigger. I don't know if you take away the Joy Cons. I would like it to be bigger, a little bit bigger, honestly, like a bigger screen and stuff. But
Hmm.
um, I don't know if you take away the Joy Cons. I don't know if you like
I,
slap a big old two on the back of the console. I don't know what you do, but like theoretically, it should probably be the same. Maybe they make the dock look different. Maybe that's the
mhm.
selling point, like the differentiator is like, hey, this dock is actually looks more like a home console and has processing power in it. Maybe that's how you differentiate it, right? The dock has processing power in it. It's got a hard drive in it that you can store your games on that you can transfer to handheld mode when you leave, right? You know, you can still have an SD card in your in your handheld device, but
Yes.
um, you know, maybe that's how you differentiate it, and that's you know, but maybe
I, I,
I think that's actually the solve right there is that you know
I
it's
think
not a
it's.
dock that you slide in. Maybe it's like a set top box that you slide the console in when you're done.
Mhm. I think they're gonna have to change the name. I think Switch is done
Yeah,
after this at when their next gen comes out because I think they're gonna have like you can still use
I think they're
Switch
gonna.
accessories and games and stuff. Oh, go
I
ahead,
think.
Corey.
Oh, there's two ways I look at this. One, the Switch name carries so much cachet
Hmm.
with consumers right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a coughing spell. We're all good, maybe. Um, but also, I think the leadership looks at what happened between the Wii and the Wii U,
Hmm.
and they really don't want that to happen again. So maybe they change the name, um, which is probably the smarter move. I don't know. I really don't know what you do, man. I mean that's why I'm sitting in an office in a house, right? Instead of in at Nintendo coming up with these ideas. But
Well, and yeah, and I think that's why when we mentioned earlier that they have these uh business minded leadership in it where Iwata was game development. I think they're going to be looking at different aspects. Okay, how does this work? How is it going to become profitable? And how do we get the name marketing? Because that marketing, they're definitely going to be looking at. How do we mark? We just don't want to make this just a upgrade Switch Deluxe or Switch 2. We want it to be we want it to be sleek, welcoming, appealing to the gamers and consumers, and also have an affordable price. We want to also make sure that third parties and indies could bring their works over to our system or create new works on our system with ease and everything. If it if it doesn't make their games be like a high blown budget game and stuff, where if they put it out and it don't sell, it's closing studios and stuff like that. We want to make sure that we give them the tools that they can make a game that looks high budget, but they didn't spend a lot of money to make it look high budget. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
if we could make our third party companies partners money, that's going to bring them in and stay in there and
mm.
everything.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we still have successful third party games. I mean, Fortnite is still
Mhm.
huge on the Switch, right? Like,
Yeah,
especially with little kids, you know. I mean, because kids don't care about frame rates and graphics, and they just want to play what their friends are playing, and they want to play with their friends, right? And
right.
I think a lot of these games are still like that. But at the same time, I think to draw in bigger third parties, right? Like the uh, to get the Dooms and the Wolfensteins and stuff like that to continue to come over, which Microsoft seems pretty committed to doing, right? Still, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just saying that kind of caliber game. I think you're gonna have to start looking at the power side of things. I mean, that's the thing keeping third parties away. And I know we already talked about this like 3 times on this episode, but the power, and I know you're going to disagree and have something to say about it, but the power is why they are not getting third party support. Now there are teams that have dedicated Switch teams, right? Like the Sniper
Hmm.
Elite. Like I was watching, it was really cool. I actually highly recommend going to Digital Foundry. I was watching something from them the other day on Switch third party uh port. I think it was the most recent episode of DF Weekly, because they were talking
Hmm.
about if the Switch needs a new console or something, and they also said 2025 probably seems likely. But also this was before this report. Um, but they were doing like tests on Switch ports, right? Like Mortal Shell just came to Switch, and it runs at like 700p and 19 or 18 frames a second. But then you get something like the Sniper Elite games, which that studio has a dedicated Switch team, because they have a team that is so dedicated to that console, and they love the
Yeah.
console. Where like they were getting Sniper Elite to run, not at 60 frames a second, but they were getting it to run at like 900p and like 40 to 50 frames a second on the Switch on in docked mode, and then 720p in handheld mode.
Hello.
But like
Hmm.
I think, not every company is going to have that dedicated team. And it kind of sucks, because I think that's what it's going to take to make these games run on this console. And not to say that companies don't have the money to do it, because I think a company like EA definitely has money to do that.
They just choose not
But
to do it.
well, yeah, they choose not to do it because I think they think the return on investment is too low. Um, which, I don't know what that number looks like. If it's 500,000 units, if it's 2 million units, I'm not sure. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean that's why we get the same version of FIFA on the console every year, right? It's because they don't think the return on investment is big. Even though
Which
like the NPD FIFA is like literally in the top 5 every month on the Switch.
which I think that's why it hurt more that Bethesda got taken away from Nintendo, but even though it's still okay because of Microsoft and Nintendo having that relationship, and even with the 10-year Call of Duty thing of it, if they ever get Activision, Nintendo is cool with that from our eyes, from watching it and stuff. And I think with EA, lot of people like a lot of people probably feel like, why do we need EA on Nintendo when Need for Speed Unbound went unnoticed? Okay, yeah, Apex Legend.
Need for
Their
Speed
invest,
Unbound sold a ton of copies, dude.
even though it sold a ton of copies, it went unnoticed.
I don't think so. A lot of podcasts I listen to were talking about it.
It Dude, when that game came out, I
Sometimes
know we have.
sometimes you say things and I'm like, where do you get this
so
information? Because
so
you
you
just
I think we view sometimes stuff differently because I was I maybe because, and I do follow people who are big on PlayStation and Xbox, but Need for Speed Unbound was it trending. No one was talking about the review scores. I have been asking people, I'm like, did you pick up Need for Speed Unbound? They said no. Like, it literally went unnoticed from my side. From seeing it. So if in even with Madden having all of the
oh,
problems that they
Madden
had,
sucks.
even with all the problems that they had, no one on Nintendo is asking for Madden until they get their own whatever version they got that they get fixed. Of course, Apex is gonna run better on a different system, but hey, we got Apex and we got Knockout City. Okay, that is the start. And uh, the It Takes Two, but we got that late. And Unravel, we got that late. Um, a lot of people are not looking forward to any of EA games and stuff. And even if we are looking for it, what's the one game that everybody's looking for on EA? It's not Battlefield anymore because they messed Battlefield 5 up. It's Star Wars. It's the new Star Wars games that's coming out. That they're looking forward to. They from Respawn with the failure of Titanfall 2, but yet the success of um Apex Legend and the Star Wars um Fallen game. Why am I about to say Fallen
Fallen
Soldier?
Order.
Fallen Order. Those two are successful games for EA. And look how big EA really got invested to that. Even with Star Wars Battlefield 2 failed. Even with
Well, it didn't fail. It sold like 30 million units, but
I mean,
I know
even
what you
if it's
mean.
yeah,
The
I think
PR nightmare.
I think the thing about it is just like even though you might sell stuff, even that Star Wars Squadron went unnoticed. Um, and I don't know how well that did and stuff. It feels like EA talks a big game on the other consoles, but when they stuff feels unnoticed and not really talked about, what is Nintendo missing? Because if more people are
I mean,
talking,
Nintendo's missing Mass Effect. They're missing Need for Speed. They're missing Dead Space. They're
so
missing
funny thing,
sports games.
funny thing,
But
f-
what?
funny thing about Mass Effect, that Mass Effect trilogy, the Legendary Collection, yes, it did good for probably a month and a half, and it disappeared from everybody's mouth
What are you
after it
talking
came out.
about? What are you talking about?
People,
People are still
people,
talking about that game.
I'm talking about the Legacy Collection. I mean, people
I
talk about
know.
Mass Effect as a series,
I know.
but when
No,
that
they're
get
still talking about how good that is and how it's probably going to tie into the new one.
I highly doubt it. It may be the Mass Effect community that might be talking about it, but when after that game came
Dude,
out 5 weeks
it
after,
was a 12th best-selling game the year it came out in
that
2021.
don't mean anything if no one is talking about and
Dude,
mentioning that
I
game.
I don't know what kind of Hello Kitty shows you're listening to, but people are still talking
Wait,
about.
why you go to Hello Kitty?
I don't know, because it's childlike and you're a giant
but
child
but
and
but
you
Corey,
claim people aren't talking about these games when they are.
who's been talking about Mass Effect Legendary Collection
Oh my gosh,
compared to
have you ever listened to Stoy and Laurent talk at all, first of all? Every
well,
other
they're
word out
Mass
of their mouth
Effect.
is Mass Effect.
They're Mass Effect fans,
I
but
don't care,
in
but
but in general, but in general,
I listened to
how
two podcasts last week that brought up Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Two
and
really
when
big podcasts.
was the last time before you heard them
Dude,
anyone talking about it?
I hear the word Mass Effect at least once every couple weeks.
But I'm talking about the Mass Effect Legendary Collection. I'm
That's what I'm
talking about that
talking
game
about.
in
That's all
general.
anybody's talking about right now. Unless they're making fun of Andromeda. Right?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh my gosh, Ed. Anyways. Mass Effect 3 on Wii U is pretty good.
That is true.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, third party stuff. So I don't know. I'm changing the subject because every time we talk about third party stuff on Nintendo consoles, I have a headache.
Hold on. Can I say that because I think we're in different circles when we talk about third party? That's what I'm saying. I think I don't see the stuff that you're seeing when it comes to third party and stuff. So my mind, in my opinion, is formed on that. It's because you are seeing stuff that I'm not seeing. So we're seeing two different things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I feel like with EA and Activision and all of that, if I'm not seeing a lot of chatter or I'm not hearing a lot of chatter on different podcasts, I feel like Nintendo doesn't have to worry because if those games that came out from those companies are not being talked about consistently, like throughout the whole year, but the stuff on Nintendo Switch is being talked about consistently and showcased and everything. That's where I'm looking at that way. Shoot, heck, if people are still talking about
Sales to date, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition sold 10.2 million units.
great, that is literally great.
I'm just giving you updated statistics.
But I'm just saying, after 5 weeks of that game coming out, nobody was talking about it.
I
People,
I
we,
I
I think
highly disagree with you.
I think we. I think I'm trying to say is that I think with the way that people move from game to game and everything, I think when it comes to third party, I think a lot of people move from game to game and third party.
Well,
And
also like when you look at something like Mass Effect, like even though that game was long at the time, like
mhm,
that all three of those games are shorter than the average RPG that comes out today, right? Like you could
yes,
play you could that first game, you could blow through that first game in about 10 hours.
that's if you
I
don't.
mean, if you do everything, it's like 30, but like
Yeah,
those
the,
games
the
aren't
main campaign.
long. Those games are not long, right? So, especially when you get to 2 and 3, like they're just straight up action games at that point. Like I don't care what anybody
I
says. 2
prefer
and 2 and 3 are not RPGs. Like they are in the sense of like let's make a choice and oh, there's some
leveling
upgrades
up.
here and there, but like
Yeah,
those are third person shooters, right? And
with
so which
RPG
two
elements.
and three 2 and 3 are so good. Man.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Ugh,
I'm not.
Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is like a top tier,
Yeah,
top tier.
and I think I'm not trying to knock Mass Effect. I'm just saying that the talk of that game has kind of like after the 5 weeks after it came out,
Okay,
people moved on quick. I'm
I
just saying.
disagree with you, but I'm not having any more of this conversation. We're moving on. Um, but I actually, whatever Nintendo's next console, I think it would be really smart for them to incorporate like the Switch Pro controllers.
Hmm.
Like if those don't work with the next console, now granted they can sell their own controllers for those consoles, right?
Yeah.
Because I think there are issues with the Switch Pro controller. It is not my favorite controller out right now. I actually think the Xbox controller is vastly superior in a lot of different ways. But the Switch Pro control, like the next controller, needs to have a headphone jack. It needs to have a headphone jack, right? And what was the other thing that it's missing that every other controller has? I forget what it doesn't have. Oh, it needs to be able to be shareable to like Instagram and platforms that people use. Which I guess isn't really a controller function, but um, what was the other thing, Ed? I don't know. Um, but it definitely needs a headphone jack. It
I
definitely
mean,
needs you to. It needs a
direction
Xbox
up ahead.
Live Party system thing. The console does, right?
Hmm.
The console needs the party system built in.
But that's more of functionality than what should be on the
I
controller
know,
itself.
I know, but I was looking at the controller thinking it needed something, and the the headphone jack and the party system thing kind of go together. But
Mm.
I still think it needs a headphone jack in the controller, like
Well, I can understand that. Yeah.
because like
Uh,
I play my Xbox with my headphones on all the time, right? Because
mm.
I don't want my kids to wake up, my wife to wake up. Sometimes there's cursing in video games. Oh no. Um, that I don't want my kids here repeated, even though like when I'm scrolling through Instagram while they're watching movies, sometimes there's videos that just yell obscenities. But I don't know. I hope the next console is just like I hope the Switch is the proof of concept of whatever their next console is, and it's vastly more powerful and has a serviceable online connection, right? That's all I want. Okay, that's all I want. Also, restructure your store, guys. Come on, I'm tired of scrolling through these squares.
Shoot, Microsoft doing the same thing too.
No, Microsoft store is super clean. Microsoft has the best store out of the big three. That's my argument. I'm just saying.
I don't know, but I think Sony's has the worst.
Oh, Sony, dude, Sony's store. Don't get me
Sony's
started.
is a mess.
Don't get me started on PlayStation. I don't. Man, I don't. So, side tangent. I don't regret getting a PlayStation 5,
Hmm.
but I also kind of regret getting a PlayStation 5. It's just I don't know, man. I was really excited to play God of War, and it's like really boring. And Horizon is awesome, but I want to like play it on a really big, huge 4K TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I have it in my office on my old TV because I'm, of all like the things I would like to do for boss rush stuff to record things, and so like it's stuck on this 1080p TV, and I don't know. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the PlayStation 5 except that I'm just like I really hope Final Fantasy 16 pans out this year because I don't know. Anyways, that was my rant about my regretful purchase.
I think we're gonna leave it there, Corey.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Mostly because I'm coughing and I feel like I'm dying. It's fine.
oh, yes. But everybody, that's gonna be it for Expansion Pass. Like Corey's explained, the new format. So you guys could check that out. I feel like this is a great discussion. With Nintendo up in their product line, it being the best console selling in 2022. We'll see how 2023 plans out because right now, at the time of this recording, I think Fire Emblem Engage is going to do 1 million plus. I don't know. That doesn't include digital sales or anything, but a lot of people have definitely been enjoying it.
I know.
Some of the people,
I'm staring at it right now and I really want to play it.
I just did my update and I need to start it. But a lot of
Did you
people
get your
are
tarot
definitely
cards?
enjoying it.
Did you get tarot
No.
cards with yours?
Uh.
Oh, I did.
Uh. Were they in the cartridge box?
No, they were a GameStop pre-order bonus.
Yeah. See, I did mine's Best Buy online, so I didn't get it.
It was funny. The girl at the cash register, she's like, "Do you want your tarot cards?" I'm like, yeah. And she just kind of looked at me because, like, when I go into GameStop, the way I dress when I go out is not exactly like the type of people that go into GameStop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had like my hat on backwards, which is like usually has some kind of local sports team on it. And I had my hoodie on and my bat. I look like I just I don't look like I just went to the gym, but I look like I like don't play video games. Like I look like a person that doesn't play video games stereotypically. So like
Mm-hmm.
when they look at me, they like think I'm weird. And then I'm like, I'm just comfortable, guys. I just want to go home and play video games. Just give me my game. So they always make me feel uncomfortable. Although she had an Overwatch League hoodie on. It was cool.
I ordered the One Piece Odyssey game that just came out for Series X. So I was able to pick up the game because the game was already out, but it comes with a keychain. Dude, why did they have the game come out? The game was already out, but the keychain, if I wanted to get it, I would have to drive back to Best Buy and get it on the 25th. So I just like
Best Buy.
I had that mug ship it to me because I'm like I should have it Saturday. I'm like, y'all better ship this thing to me. I'm not about to come up here to get a keychain. No. If you didn't have it at the time when I brought the game, hey, y'all need to just ship it to me. So. But everybody, that's gonna be it for Nintendo Expansion Pass. We will see you next time for another great discussion. With that, everybody, see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Nintendo Expansion Pass is part of Nintendo Power Block and is a product of Boss Rush Media LLC. The show is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio, and is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-host is Corey Dirrig. You can find Corey at I am Corey at HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. Follow Expansion Pass as part of Nintendo Power Block and on all social media platforms at Power Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.